episode of Her Story Untold Studios. I'm your host, Tanir, and I'm thrilled to have you here with us today. At Her Story Untold Studios, we believe in the power of stories to heal and inspire. Today, we have a wonderful guest with us. She will share her incredible journey of overcoming divorce, burnout, and transforming her life. Remember, your story matters too. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to stay connected with our latest episodes. I'm going to let my guest introduce herself and tell us where she's from.
Thank you so much for having me and for the lovely introduction. I'm super excited to be here. And yes, I'm Josie. I'm a leadership and mindset coach and originally from Germany, but I actually live in London, UK, which is literally my home of heart.
Nice. Okay. So, can you share with us a little bit of how you got up to the point of the divorce that you were in?
Yes, happy to share the juicy one first. I mean, it is a very juicy one, isn't it? So, I have been in a relationship for 12 years. That was basically like a youth love story, kind of. I think we got together when we were like 16. So, very, very young. Um, it wasn't a healthy relationship at all, like from the beginning, really. And I'm very honest about that. I don't think we were good for each other at any point in the relationship, really, but because we were the only ones there for another, and also because of my upbringing with my parents, I was needing love. I needed attention. I was seeking that validation, right? To be loved by someone. And he gave me that, even though it wasn't a very toxic kind of setting. But we stayed together for a very, very long time. And when it kind of like started to be more obvious that there were problems was when I initially moved to Finland for a year. So we had like a long distance relationship. And then right after, we kind of managed, we kind of survived. But then right after, I got a job offer in the UK and I was like, I'm going to take this because I want to live in the UK. This is my dream country. I want to live here. It's my, as I said, home of heart. So without further thinking about it, I was like, I'm taking this job. And my now ex was not very happy about that. But I was like, okay, well, if the relationship ends, then honestly, fine by me. However, to my surprise, I moved over here and then he suddenly said, oh, I quit my job, I follow you. And I was like, what? What? You following me? Like, what? You're coming over? Like, no, thank you. But he came over and it kind of like, it was okay. Like, again, we survived. We weren't really good for another. It was lots of toxicity between us. And I didn't like who I was in the relationship either because I was very much focused on my goals. I wanted to really blaze through my career and I had like high ambitions. So those were my first focus areas. So in a sense, I was very selfish, which I still think is a good thing because I need to come first
Right.
all the time in my life. That's just the most important thing. But he wasn't very happy about that. And then we did have like loads of fightings going on. And actually before the wedding, like a year before the wedding, we broke up. I went on a trip all by myself and I came back and was like, we need to break up, like this doesn't work. And at that point we were already engaged for a couple of years. But he managed to sweet talk me and we said, okay, let's try for another year, or like as long as it goes. And then it kind of was more like suddenly it turned like in this pressure, this external pressure of people were expecting me now to get married. Like they were like, no, they stay together. They are fine. They are happy. They are okay. But the reason they thought that was because I didn't voice what was going on to everybody. I was keeping it to myself because I thought I have to see it through now. I have to stick with this now. So we got married and it was on the wedding day. I kid you not. When I was just standing there and I was like, why is no one saying no? Why am I standing here right now making the biggest mistake of my life? Like, I do not want to say yes, but because I felt so pressured through my own kind of like way of thinking at that time, I said yes. And then right after I was miserable. I literally fell into kind of a depression right after, and my now ex-husband, he noticed. So kind of like 3 weeks after the wedding, he asked like, Josie, what's going on? What, like, why are you so miserable? And I was like, I don't think we should be married. And that was then the point when we decided, okay, we need to get this wedding or this marriage annulled. So it wasn't even divorce. We got it annulled. Started the process literally weeks after. And yeah, haven't looked back since, because then not too long afterwards, I met the love of my life on Tinder. So it was definitely a scary thing to go through. But holy smokes, I'm so happy it happened, because now I'm with the bestest partner ever that I could ask for.
Wow. Congratulations on your new relationship.
Thank you.
Sometimes a door closes so another one can open. So,
Exactly.
going through the annulment, did you have anything that you felt as far as, I know you were depressed. Was there any other things that you were feeling? Were you emotional? Did you go through the stages, the sadness? And how did you cope with
Yes.
that?
Yeah, so the funny thing about that is, like, even though you realize you need to get out, you realize something is not good for you, like you have been drinking that poison. The problem is that you're used to it. The problem is that you're used to this poison. Like, so it's, even though it's great that you're suddenly rid of it and you can finally focus on yourself, I was experiencing lots and lots of grief, because not only was the divorce happening at that moment, I was also going through burnout, and I was facing redundancy. So I had to make the decision, do I stay at my old company or do I leave? So my whole life, as I've known it, was just crumbling. It literally was just in shambles. And I was sad about it, because even though I needed this huge wake-up call, I literally needed it, and the universe was like, I'm a deliver. Here you go. Here you go, girl. Now deal with it.
Right.
I was like, but not this way. Like, this is horrible. I don't like it. So there was a lot of grief, because you suddenly have to let go of this old identity and this old life that you've been living for so long. And you have to almost reinvent yourself. And the way I reinvented myself was to really heavily focus on, what does Josie want? What is important to Josie? So I was really asking myself these questions, and I was lucky that I got a coach back then. So she was really helping me to focus back on my values. Okay, what is truly important to me? What do I want to get out of my life? How do I want to feel? Like, how does it feel for me even to be lucky? Like, what is needed for me to be lucky? Not lucky, sorry, happy. So she really helped me to just get back home to myself, and with all the work I've done myself on like my mindset and really shifting how I talked about myself, like the negative self-talk, those kind of things, I really try to get rid of that. And so my cat is in the background too, so she makes an appearance in the YouTube video. She's like, I want to have a say too. Oh well. So I was really heavily working on my mindset to focus on what is still good in my life and what is in my control. And that's how I worked through this and through this grief. So I was still acknowledging and working through those emotions. I was like, if I need to cry, I cry. But at the same time, I will focus on what is still good in my life, what is still in my control. And now that everything crumbled and is gone, I have the perfect opportunity to build it up again. So I really focused on what I wanted to get out of my life. So I had my vision, I had my values, which are like my compass, how I go through life. And that really, really helped me to survive that time, but also to come out of it on like a way brighter side.
Wow. Ooh, yes, Josie. I love that. I mean,
It's
it
deep.
took for you to have to go through, yes, you had to go through those things in order to be where you are now. And imagine if you would have stayed there. Imagine if you would have just years and years of marriage. or if kids was involved, you know? So that's wow. I'm super like stories that's like, we go through tough times, but this is the outcome after going through it. And while you were going through depression and you had your moods where you were emotional, you got through it and you didn't give up on love. You didn't give up, you didn't lose hope, right? It was just something that you knew you had to say, okay, I got to move forward. I was
Mm.
unhappy. And look, happiness came right there, okay?
It came right after, and I was like, that's unexpected, but I take it. Thank you.
So, what were some of the biggest challenges? I know you went through depression and the emotions of a breakup, annulment. What was burnout part of that?
I definitely think it played a role in it because I was already low. Like burnout, obviously, it drains you. It drains also your energy and how you cope with things. So I was very bad at first at coping with things. And because I was like so stressed and so drained of everything, it was definitely contributing to this whole experience to amplify it in a negative way. So I definitely feel like it contributed big times. At the same time, again, I saw it as another wake up call to change another area of my life, which was my career, to change it for the better.
Okay.
So it was another one of those things that was needed. And I don't wish for anyone to have to go this far, that you have to go through burnout, that you have to go through divorce, depression, redundancy to wake up. Like you can read the signs beforehand. And some of those signs really are like, how are you feeling on a day-to-day basis? Where is your happiness meter at? Are you like all the time really unhappy, or are you actually fine? And an easy way for me to see that was I literally had like a daily journal where I would color smileys, so or like emojis. So I would color them in red if I was really unhappy, and I would color them in like orange or yellow when I was like I'm okay-ish, and I would color them in green when I was happy. And that just showed me then, if I would look back at the end of the month, for example, okay, I have mainly red emojis, so something is not right here. So those are the signs that you can look for where you know I am not happy right now. So what are these areas where I'm not happy? What can I change? What needs to be changed? So they are actually a really good kind of like alarm bell that's going off when you have those negative, heavy emotions, also in terms of burnout, stress, whatever it is. So look for those signs and do something before you
Right.
you go down that rabbit hole.
Okay. So, how did redundancy impact your life? Like, did you have to take initial steps to rebuild your personal life? How was that?
Yeah. So the redundancy part was funny. Funny in a sense of I was part of some of those sprint teams, design teams who was co-shaping and co-creating the new work environment as we were going through the restructuring. So I basically co-designed how the new department would look like that I should be part of. But then when it came to the question if I want to stay or leave, I was like, actually, I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure if I want to be in this environment. Even though I co-created it, I love what we created. It's great. It's based
Right.
on great principles, but I'm not sure if I love it still. And because I did the work with my coach, that showed me just like how important my values are. My core values are impact, authenticity, and freedom. And all of these values were not honored anymore in my work. I wanted to have impact with people. I wanted to really help change people's lives. I didn't want to be just number crunching. I wanted to be true to myself. I didn't want to put on like a fake face to a game that I didn't want to play anymore in the corporate space, because I always felt like I couldn't be or express myself as I truly wanted to. And also with the freedom part, like in the corporate space, you're not free. So
Right.
actually, when I got asked as a child what I wanted to be when I'm old. I said I want to be a boss because I wanted to be free. And in the corporate space, I couldn't be free. So just knowing these values made the decision when it came to the redundancy very, very easy. So I still had the choice. Do I want to stay, I said, or do I want to leave? But knowing that, it was a very clear leave for me. Again, at first I was just like super scared. There was a moment when I was talking to my manager and HR and I was just bursting out in tears. But that also was because I was going through the shitstorm with my ex-husband and I was burnt out. But that was the moment when I really realized I cannot stay at this company anymore. I need to leave. I need to dive into what is truly meant for me. And that was becoming a coach myself and to start my own business so I can honor my values and I can create this life of freedom and impact and authenticity and have this life-changing impact on others that I was seeking. So it was very scary going through that, but at the same time, it was such a freeing decision and such a freeing feeling. So as soon as I logged off the last time on my laptop and I was like, I'm done, it was like taking such a deep breath and such a release of, oh my God, I now can create. I have like this big blank white canvas in front of me and I can create whatever I want. Right. So for me, redundancy was a very positive experience. And I know not everybody can relate to that. But I would love to invite you to see the possibilities in that situation, because as you said yourself, if one door closes, another one will open up. And that's the same with redundancy.
So, how is life for Josi now and the work that you do? We know you're happy with your significant other.
Yes.
But how has life transformed for you in this very moment?
In so many levels. I feel like I can say I'm literally living a life without any regret because I'm making any decisions always based on what I truly want and what really lights me up, what is important to me. So there are zero regrets in any decisions I take. And that led to me really starting passion projects like my own podcast as well, or writing my book. So I'm a published author now, which is something that has been like a huge childhood dream of mine. I had the honor to work already with like over 50 people around the globe to impact their lives and to trust themselves more and really overcome that self-doubt and work through those challenging situations themselves. And just knowing that I can have this impact, that's for me what sets my soul on fire. That's where I'm like, oh my gosh. That's just what makes me so happy, because I have this fulfillment and this purpose in my career, in this path of entrepreneurship. Obviously, I have my significant other who's just an absolute gem. Like, this is literally a humble boyfriend brag over here, but it's just the truth. And I'm living in like this super cute apartment in London, which again is my home of heart, with my 2 cats. And we just booked a holiday. So life has been incredible ever since. So I am so grateful for these shit shows to have happened, because they really turned my life into an incredible glam show. And I keep on being excited for the next like segment of the show, for the next thing that's happening. And I'm just like, wow, I am so grateful that I can call this my life. So yeah, that's a very big change.
I am so happy for you, Josi.
Thank you.
If you can give your younger self advice, what would that advice be?
Oof. So I definitely think it would be, so you can see the quote in the background, right?
Yes.
I am, I can, I will. But I would say it's also a mix of actually the title of my book, because I felt maybe for a while I forgot that. So the title is And There She Goes Her Way. So I would tell my younger self, you go your way, believe in yourself, trust yourself, you do your thing, that's the right thing. Don't let anyone like sway you off your path. Do your thing. And to mix in the I am, I can, I will, because I am, like you are, you exist, right? So that's all you need. And you just need to make the decision that you can, because you have everything. You can make it happen. There's so many things you will learn along the way. You don't need to know everything. Like nothing is perfect. You're not a master at the craft yet. And that's okay, but you can. So just make the decision that you will make it happen and go for it. So that is the advice I would give my younger self.
I will, I am. I love that. I love that. So, can you share a pivotal moment that signified your transformation and how it shaped your outlook on life today?
That's a very good question. I think that might have been actually when I was way younger, maybe like 14, 15, or let's say 14 to 16. So back then I was a very unhappy teenager because of my upbringing. Like there were loads of things that weren't as nice. And there was a moment where I did try to take my life. Luckily I did not succeed. Obviously, that's why I'm here. But I feel like the reason why I did not succeed back then was because subconsciously I wanted to live so badly. I wanted to be happy so badly. I wanted to live the best life I could so badly. So it didn't work. And now I'm like, looking at it from hindsight, I'm just like, this was the pivotal moment where I decided I want to be able to live my best life ever with zero regret. I want to live the life I have, this one chance I have, in the best way possible, where I can be the happiest possible. So that was definitely the pivotal moment. I feel like that changed lots of things in terms of my outlook on life. A lot. Big times.
Well, we're happy that you're here. That didn't go as it needed to go. Well, it went as it needed to go because it didn't happen because you needed to be here.
Yes.
So we're super grateful to have you here. Can you give our audience any advice if they may be going through something of your situation or what you went through?
I feel like the best advice I can give is to trust your desires, trust where you want to go, and go for it. There is so much more to experience. There's so much more to live. There's so much more to see. So many more people to meet, pets to cuddle, all of those good things. Like, there is so much beauty and joy to see in this world and in this life. So keep on going and look for those moments. Really have a little bit of those rose-colored lenses on and see life through a lens of love for life. That's the advice I would give.
Is it any social handles or anything that you want the audience to connect with you from? You can give anything you want now.
All the good stuff. Yes, of course. So you can find me anywhere and everywhere with my name, Josi Dumont. So that's Josi_Dumont on Instagram, but you can also find me on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Threads. Threads is my favorite home at the moment. I'm literally on there every single day. I'm obsessed. Maybe a little bit too much. I need to reduce that. But that's where you can find me, and you can also find my website, which is just josidumont.com, and you can find my services, my one-on-one coaching offers, my book, everything, and my membership as well over on there.
Awesome. And I'll also have all her handles and everything she just mentioned at the bottom of this video. So if you do want to connect with her, you want to visit her website, or if you have any questions or you need advice, you'll feel free. It's right under this video. So with that being said, Josie, thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So excited to have you here. Appreciate you. Tuning into Her Story Untold Studios. Your support means the world to us. Remember, every story we share is a beacon of hope and strength. No matter what you're going through, you are not alone. Together we can overcome anything. Until next time, everyone, stay strong, stay hopeful, and keep sharing your light with the world. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.